Hello everyone, welcome. For those of you who love like super chatty and long videos, today is your day because today is going to be a long chatty just kind of like prep with me video. So as you can see in front of me, I have some conglomerate of supplies. So basically I am going to be setting up, no, take that back. I'm going to be preparing to set up my Zero Base 1 collection. As you can see here, here's my whole conglomerate of Zero Base 1 collection, and I need to prep it for my storing video. So I need to sleeve it, I need to organize it, I need to figure out what all I have. But in addition, I am going to be building a binder that is going to house my special Chiwoong collection. Very similar to how I have a special binder for Bing-chan from Stray Kids. I am doing something similar for Chiwoong because he is my bias in the group. Basically like an alt bias at this point, along with Chan. So we are going to be building this like clear acrylic binder from Meow Cafe shop. I have really loved my clear binder for my Bing-chan collection, and I've been wanting to update this binder, obviously because it's like bursting at the seams, and also because I feel like I've outgrown it. And so I'm kind of using this Meow Cafe shop one as kind of a test run before I go and buy another one for my Bing-chan binder to switch over. But yeah, we're gonna be testing this out. As you can see though, I do need to assemble it. It comes not assembled, so that's gonna be part of this video, is trying to figure out if I can put together this clear acrylic binder. But yeah, I think today will be fun. A couple of months ago, I'm a little bit late, but I also a couple of months ago asked on my Instagram to send me in some questions that I could answer while I do this prep, because I kind of wanted to do a preparing video, but I didn't want it to all just kind of be time lapses or just like silence slash like me just talking about whatever. So I did ask if you could send me some questions, which I have written down that we will go through as we prepare this new and exciting collection. Also, I just want to point out that I did purchase the Meow Cafe shop supplies with my own money. I purchased these actually back in like November. I have like all of my supplies for my Zero Base 1 collection from Meow Cafe shop, and I purchased all of these back in like November. This video has been like a long time coming, but yeah, I just want to mention that I purchased these myself. And this will kind of be my first reaction too, because I haven't had the chance to test out these supplies or see them for myself. So yeah, very excited to see the quality. I'm sure they're great. Everyone loves Meow Cafe shop, so I am very excited to finally have my chance to test these out and review. So I think what we'll start with first is the binder because I'm a little bit intimidated by the construction of this. It also didn't come with instructions, so this might take a second on my end to figure out what it is that we're doing. This is the inner binder rings, obviously. Here's all the components. Take it out of the plastic wrap. So I believe that this is a 2-inch binder, which should be great for right now for my, oh my gosh, Chiwoong collection, I hope. So, okay, this seems pretty simple enough. It's just kind of like screwing things in together. I just have to figure out what is the best orientation. Okay, I think this is the bottom panel. Because it has an extra set of holes here. So I think it goes like that. And then it'll go like this. And then like this. Yeah, I think that's how it goes. I have seen like one other YouTuber slash creator who's made a video on setting up this binder on YouTube, and they were actually the ones that helped me make the decision on getting this acrylic binder, because as I was preparing to set up my Zero Base 1 collection, I was just gonna get another one of these like Wanna This, which is basically like an off-brand version of the Beyond D binder. I was just gonna get another one of these for my Chiwoong collection, but this creator's video, I made sure to like pull it up. I'll have her linked in the description down below, but her name is Ani Star. I came across this video and it's literally her setting up this acrylic binder and like talking about her collection, and I loved watching this video and seeing like the space capacity and how big it looked. And so shout out to her. She really helped make this decision for me. Well, not make it for me, but helped influence my decision in like picking up one of these binders. And like I mentioned, I love like the clear acrylic binders for like special collections like this. So I was happy to see that someone had like a review on it kind of before I made the purchase. And so I'm excited to try it out myself, and I anticipate that I will like it. So I will probably get another one, like I said, for my Chan collection, because that Chan binder is like so outgrown at this point. Like none of the new errors from at least like 5-star and onward are even in that binder. So okay, I'm gonna peel off. There's like a protective film on here. Can I peel this off? My nails are like failing me at the moment. It's like a nice, satisfying peel. I love that it comes with this cutesy little screwdriver. That's so fun. Alright, so I assume there is like a top and bottom bracket for this. Yeah, I assume it's this. So there are two different kinds of like screw heads in this pile. There is one that has kind of just a flat, smooth back, and then on the other side it has like a little hole here, and then the other one has like a screw side, and then it has just like the screw, and these are the two that you would put together and then screw into place. The thing is though, I don't know which side. I guess that the screw side should go that way so that the flat side is on the outside. Okay, place the binder rings in. And then I'll screw this part in. Those are some strong binder rings. Oh my gosh, you need like some strength to pull those apart. Holy cow. Okay, so binder rings are now in place. Now it's time to connect the covers. Okay, here are the hinges. Do I attach these on the inside or the outside? Like, do I attach them like this? So they're underneath the acrylic or on top of the acrylics, like this. Okay, so Ani, I believe that's how you say her name, because in her little description, it has like the pronunciation and it says Ani. So I think, so Ani puts hers on the inside. Maybe I should look up Meow Cafe's shop's listing to see what their photo looks like. It looks like they put it on the outside. Yeah, all the photos have it on the outside. This is mine that I have. Let me just see. I feel like it probably doesn't matter. I'm trying to like look at it both ways, of like inside the acrylic or outside the acrylic. I feel like it probably doesn't matter. It works both ways. I do think though, I do like it being on the inside so the hardware isn't like sticking out on the outside. Okay, let's try that. If I don't like it, I guess I can off camera go back and like change it. Oh my gosh, okay. Trying to line up those screws it was so difficult. I probably did it like such a backwards way too, so it was probably my own fault that I made it so difficult, but I was trying to just get it to have everything laid down so I can just screw everything all in at the same time. So here we go. I'm gonna do the corner ones first so everything is kind of in place. Okay, I definitely had to do a little bit of trial and error with that first panel. So I probably just spent a lot of it up because it was painful. It was painful. It was painful to get through. I understand now. I definitely was going about the technique all wrong. I thought I would just be able to like put down the plate, put down the screws, and screw it. It doesn't really work like that. The screws kind of need a little bit of like help as you're screwing them in. So it is way easier to like pick up the binder, hold the screw from the back, and then screw it in from the top than what I was trying to do. So we're gonna do that differently for this cover. We're gonna do it a lot easier now. Again, I kind of wish that this binder came with instructions because it seems straightforward enough, but it is a little bit like not as intuitive as you would think it is. I love the look of the cover. It's just putting it together is a little bit difficult. And to be honest, I'm not entirely sure why they don't just like pre-assemble them. But I mean, once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. So what I'm gonna do now that I know, is I'm only gonna do one screw set at a time. So I'm gonna find a top and bottom here, put the flat side here on the back. I'm gonna put the hinge on it. I'm gonna take the top screw, put it on the top of the screw head underneath, and screw drive in. There we go. See, so much easier than what I was trying to do. Like I said, this back screw kind of really does need that support of like holding it in place to be able to like retain like the tension enough to screw in to the top screw. So again, I'll place the two together, hold it from the back side, screw it in, and there we go. I was thinking that I was going to start the Q&A while doing this. We're gonna have to wait for that to start during the sleeving. I am so preoccupied with trying to screw these in. So there still probably will be a little bit of time lapse in this video, despite me saying I don't want to do a time lapse, because I really have to concentrate more than I thought I would as I'm building this binder. So you do have two extra screws, both a top and a bottom. Probably if like one of the screws that you have doesn't fit or it doesn't work or you lose one, so it is nice that they give you extras. I'm just gonna put the screwdriver in with the screws, hold on to them in case I need it. But okay, there we go. The binder, the binder is built. Here is what it looks like. Definitely a labor of love, just a little bit, but honestly, I do really love how it looks. Like I said, I really liked the idea of a clear binder, and so I'm really excited to use this and test it out. I think I'm gonna really like it. I didn't love the assembly process, but I mean, that's a minor thing. That's a one thing and I'm done kind of situation. But yeah, so there it is. And yeah, I do think it was a good call to put the hardware on the inside, so it's a little bit more flush, a little bit more clean here on the outside. And then when you have like your binder pages and stuff in here and like your backboards, it won't be too big of a deal. So okay, one half of this video is complete. Now we'll move on to the main task, which is going to be sleeving all of these cards and sorting them and figuring out what all I have, what sections I need to divide them into, and, you know, do that whole thing. So I am going to go through, and like I said, I'm just going to sleeve everything. Some of these are in like sleeves already from like trades and stuff, and also from like buying. So I just need to reorganize this, sleeve things, and as we do that, like I said, I will do the Q&A, answer some questions that I pulled from my Instagram. So the sleeves that I'm going to be using for these are the Meow Cafe 61 by 91 millimeters. I decided to use these instead of like Dragon Shield sleeves because I wanted to test out the Meow Cafe sleeves with their binder pages that I'll be putting this collection into. So this is the sleeve size that I chose. Also, just so you're aware, my poor little cuticles get really like banged up and really like worn down when I sleeve a bunch of cards all at the same time. I know from previous experience. So I just went ahead and washi taped the two fingers that usually get chipped up the most. So don't mind my cute little tulip washi tape that is now acting as band-aids on my finger. But yeah, so if you compare them though, size-wise, to Dragon Shield, they're pretty similar in size, honestly. They're pretty much the same like height, but hopefully you can see that the Meow Cafe ones are just like a couple millimeters shorter than the Dragon Shield. Like if we put them back to back, you can see that the Dragon Shield back here hangs over just a little bit. So it's almost the same size, but just like a little bit thinner, or not thinner, a little bit skinnier. So I'm excited to finally try these out, and each of these boxes come with 100 sleeves, which is also what the Dragon Shield usually comes with also, as they both come with 100 sleeves inside. I'll do one little packet here at a time. So, oh, okay, so this is my first time feeling these. They feel very nice. They do honestly feel a little bit thinner than I was expecting. How many microns are these? They're 0.1. Is this 100 microns? Is that what that means? 0.1? I think these might be 100 microns, which I think is what the Dragon Shields are, possibly. I will say the Dragon Shields do feel like a little bit thicker in terms of like they both feel really, really nice. The Dragon Shield just feels a little bit thicker, and I'm really used to Dragon Shield because that's honestly like all that I use basically. So it's interesting to feel like the comparison. I do feel like my cards will be protected in these. Like I'm not worried about damage. I just am a little bit surprised by how like thinner they do feel, if I'm gonna be honest about that. I'm sure in the binder pages they'll feel and be just fine. So, and again, if I don't like them, I can eventually switch them out or whatever. Like it won't be too big of a deal. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what's gonna be the best the best system here for me, so I can easily do this. Probably this, so then I can go boom, boom, boom. All right, go ahead and get started. So I don't even know. We can just like dive into here. Like, oh my gosh, so many cards just all over the place. But the first question, which I feel like is the perfect question to start off with, which is any other groups you are debating collecting? Well, obviously from this video alone, it's pretty obvious that Zero Base 1 is one of those collections. I also have talked about previously that I collect Oneness on the side. That's another collection that I'm hopefully going to be storing here pretty soon. So I wouldn't say that those are groups that like I am debating collecting. Obviously I am collecting. So outside of that, I would say I have always wanted to collect TXT, like OT5 TXT, like maybe not full collect, but like selectively collect TXT. I would love to do that. Who else? I've also thought about just kind of briefly picking up 17 before. Oh, Boy Next Door. I would love to start looking into and collecting Boy Next Door. Boy Next Door has really like shot up on my like favorites list this past year. I saw them at KCON last year, like 2014, oh my gosh, 2024 KCON. That was the first time I'd seen them, and I think also the first time they'd really like come to the US and stuff to like perform and tour. What am I doing with this Jiwoon card, this Polaroid? I don't know. I'm gonna set that one off to the side because that's a card I don't know if I'm actually gonna store. But yeah, I saw Boy Next Door, and I was familiar with like their music and stuff before then, but I feel like I really fell in love with them at KCON and like during their performances and stuff. And they actually made it up into my top 5 Spotify artists for 2024, and I just like listen to them so often. I feel like I'm on the verge of becoming like a one door every single day. So I honestly would love to like really pick up like Boy Next Door. If I had to like narrow it down, I feel like I could see myself picking up TXT and Boy Next Door, but especially Boy Next Door. Just, I think those boys are like so fun and so talented, and like their music specifically, it itches a part of my brain like so specifically and like so well. Like their music is like my favorite type of music sound. Like it is my absolute favorite like K-pop music sound. So yeah, I really like them. Also, I've been wanting to kind of talk about this. This is like a side tangent really quick, but it's really good because we're talking about this. But I just haven't had a chance to like talk about this in videos or like anywhere else, but I just kind of want to say this here that I know that I primarily started out as a Stray Kids collector, and I only talked about Stray Kids for like the first 3 years of me being online / being like a collector. And then more recently, within the last year, I started to talk more about other groups. I obviously started talking about Zero Base One a lot more, and also would bring up other groups. And I just want to say that I am in no way abandoning Skiz. Skiz are my ults. They will always be my ults. I love them to death, but I have gotten some pretty nasty messages, which is first of all crazy. But I have gotten some pretty nasty messages in DM over the last year, basically saying that I've like abandoned Skiz, or like people are upset that I don't talk about Skiz as much as I used to, or that like if I post like a reel or something and it has to do with Zero Base One, they're like, why wasn't this Skiz instead? Like you're an anti, like you're a hater now. And that like has really hurt my feelings more than I wish it had. To the point where now I kind of like second guess everything that I post online to like my social medias, like whether it's like a tweet, whether it's like a story on Instagram, like whatever it is, I feel like I always like second guess, and in the back of my mind I feel like guilty now, which is something that I need to work on like for personal growth. But like because people have said that, it makes me be like, oh, I guess I shouldn't be talking about this group, like I should only be talking about Skiz. Like, so I don't know, I just like, I'm in no way like getting rid of Skiz. Like if I was, obviously I would like get rid of my entire Stray Kids collection. I would change my username, I would change my profile, I would change everything if I was totally abandoning Skiz, and I'm not. I've just gotten to a point in like my K-pop standing journey where I'm like a multi now, and I'm like ready to jump into other groups, and I'm ready to collect other groups, and I want to like talk about my groups and be happy, and like it kind of feels like my safe space kind of no longer was a safe space. And I feel like that's also a reason why I've stepped back a lot more in posting on any of my socials, because I don't want anyone to like come into my DMs again and like say the things that people were saying. So I feel like this is kind of like the perfect opportunity to be like, just because I talk about another group and I show interest in another group and I get excited about another member of a different group, doesn't mean that I've abandoned Skiz, doesn't mean I don't like them anymore, that like Chan isn't my like end all be all ult bias. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like it makes me sad that like people think that I've like abandoned Skiz, and I haven't. So I don't know. I know that like doesn't really tie into this like video, but I have been wanting to like touch on that and like reassure that like I know I started with Skiz, but like we're kind of branching out. I'm branching out, like I'm exploring other groups that also make me happy. So yeah, I don't really know how to end that thought, but yeah, just know that I love Skiz. I wouldn't constantly still be spending my money on them. I wouldn't be seeing them multiple times on tour this year. Again, I wouldn't keep my OTA collection if I didn't love Skiz with my whole entire heart. Just because I pick up another group doesn't mean that I've like abandoned them or like whatever. And people also coming into my DMs and like forcing me to like, well, not forcing me, but like telling me that like I'm a terrible person because I like other groups now, and basically being like, I'm not gonna watch your content, or like I'm not gonna follow you anymore if you don't do only Skiz. Which, I mean, like, I don't know, like, again, I know I was primarily only Skiz for a really long time, but everyone I feel like grows. Like, everyone always adapts. Like, your interests change as like the years go by. So I don't know, I guess I'm sorry but also like not sorry. So yeah, I'm gonna try and not like let that interfere with my like mindset going forward. Like I said, I still struggle kind of when I like post about things that are not Skiz, because I'm always like, oh my gosh, people are gonna like think I don't like Skiz anymore. But but that's definitely like the minority, and like the people that follow me and that I follow and that I interact with. So I'm gonna like try and not like let it affect me as much. But yeah, I just want to again reiterate, promise you, I'm not abandoning Skiz just because I start talking about another group. Trust me, I'm here with Skiz until Skiz is no more. Like, it's gonna be fine. So, okay, moving on. Like I said, I just wanted to briefly talk about that, but moving on so we can get more into like some lighthearted, fun questions. Also, I'm not really gonna be talking about the cards much as I sleeve them. You're just gonna kind of see a sneak peek of everything. And yeah, I'm not going to focus too much here on the cards, because I'm definitely going to be focusing more on the cards as I'm like storing them away in my binders and stuff. But the next question is, what got you into K-pop? And I feel like I've talked about this a couple times on my channel. But so the very first group that I was ever introduced to / like knew about in K-pop was SHINee. And it was specifically watching SHINee's Hello music video back during my childhood when like TVs had built-in like channels and like built-in like on-demand programs. There was this specific like music video channel on my like childhood TV that you could go into and like watch popular music videos and stuff from artists. And so I would often go in and like watch music videos that would like pop up in the feed. And one day SHINee's Hello music video popped up, and so I clicked into this, and this was, mind you, this was like 2012. Clicked into it, watched that, immediately fell in love with SHINee, like absolutely love them. And then I started to like explore other groups and other music videos that were on this like on-demand like music video channel. So I got introduced to Girls' Generation, I got introduced to 21, Big Bang, FX, like basically all the OG second gen groups. And like I just like I loved it. It was so fun. But during that time, I kind of like, I didn't really have as much access to the internet as I do now, obviously, / like the past like decade of my life. Like when I was still in school in like 2012, my family like still had like dial-up internet. Like we weren't really on the like high-speed internet train just yet. So I didn't know like that there was like this whole big fandom like surrounding K-pop. All I knew were like the music videos. Like all I knew were these music videos and these artists, and like I didn't know any of their names. I like didn't know anything about them. I just knew that I loved the music. I loved these music videos. Like they were so fun. And so throughout like all of high school, I would just like go on and like explore different music videos and just listen to it through that and just like whatever. And it was like very casual. And then I graduated high school, went off to college, and kind of forgot about K-pop for like a long time, like it didn't even really like cross my mind at all, because I just like I wasn't home and I wasn't in that like sphere of like going on to like the music video channel or whatever. So I kind of forgot about it. And then fast forward a lot of years later, it's 2020, lockdown is in like full effect. I finally decided to like download TikTok because I had been like really like not into TikTok and was very much like kind of against downloading TikTok. But it was lockdown 2020 in the summertime, super bored, so I decided to download TikTok. And within like 3 days of like downloading TikTok, my algorithm happened to pop up the Studio Choom music video for God's Menu, and it was specifically Felix's part. And I watched that and I immediately was like, oh my gosh, who is this? What is this? I completely forgot about K-pop. Oh no. So then then I kind of went into a big spiral. I discovered who Stray Kids are. I kind of got caught up on like what was happening on K-pop recently. And then long story short, here we are, basically almost 5 years later. And I'm very much into K-pop. Like I'm in it. I'm in the scene. I don't see myself leaving here anytime soon. Like we are in it. Like before, I kind of just got like a small little taste of it and didn't even know anything about it. And then the second time around, it like grabbed me even harder and was like, you're not leaving this time. Like you are not escaping. So yeah, so that's basically how I got into K-pop. Specifically, it was SHINee's Hello music video. Again, that's probably one of my favorite SHINee songs still to like this day. Like that song is so special to me. Like I just love it so much. So initially it was initially it was SHINee Hello. Second time around it was Stray Kids, God's Menu, Felix. And yeah, so that's how we came about. And then also during lockdown, that's kind of when I discovered the like YouTube / like creator side of K-pop, and I found like all of our favorite K-pop YouTubers and like collectors and stuff. And I was like, I feel like I could do that. Like I have been previously watching like YouTube. Like YouTube is like my TV. Like I've been religiously watching YouTube and like different YouTubers for like 15 years at this point. Like YouTube is my life. And so I was already super familiar with like I feel like how YouTube works and like algorithms and stuff. And then I found out that there was like specific areas on YouTube that had to do with K-pop and K-pop collectors, and I was like, I feel like I could do that. And then when I finally decided that I wanted to collect photocards, that's when I was like, oh, well, maybe I should like start my this channel, like this K-pop channel, and kind of like document my like collecting journey and do all that. And so that's kind of how this channel was born too, is I just found it as like another outlet for talking about K-pop, because I kind of didn't have an outlet to talk about it at the time. So I was like, this would be like the perfect outlet for it. And again, like 3-4 years later, here we are, and here are all of you watching me dissect and like sleeve my new collection. So fun, so like serendipitous. So all right, next question is, they kind of are like in tandem, but it's like, who is your bias wrecker in Skiz and who is your bias wrecker in ZB1? And I feel like I've definitely talked about who my bias wrecker is in Skiz, though I'm curious if like anyone actually knows, like if anyone can like say it like down in the comments. I'm curious like if you want to like make your guess down in the comments as to like who you think my bias wrecker in Skiz is. So did you put your guesses in? I'm trying to make this like it's super interactive. But my bias wreckers in Skiz are Sungmin and Felix. Those two, I love those two so much. But also generally I feel like any other stay, like honestly all of Skiz are like my bias wreckers. Like those are all my boys, those are all my kids. I love them with my whole heart. But yeah, I do definitely have a big soft spot for Sungmin specifically, and then also Felix. But I mean, I also love Lino, I love Han, I love Hyunjin, I love Ian, I love Changbin. I love all of them so much. But so yeah, so those are my bias wreckers though. So I would say that my bias line for Skiz though is Chan, Sungmin, and Felix. And then for ZB1, bias is Jung. And then my bias wreckers, who I'm also going to be collecting, are Hanbin and Matthew, but also more recently, Gyuvin. Gyuvin is coming for me in a way that I never anticipated. So it was just this trio, but now I feel like Gyuvin is in the mix. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like my bias wreckers and ZB1 are like just kind of in a constant rotation currently. They're kind of just like all over the place. But up until like a month ago, it was Jimung, Matthew, and Hanbin. Now, like I said, Gyuvin is in the mix here, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't really know what to feel about it. He's got me in a chokehold. He's got me in a chokehold that I don't know how I got to. Next question. Any tips for Skiz concerts? I'm so lucky to be able to go and also love your content. Well, thank you, first of all, for liking. Oh my gosh, what happened here? Hello? Hello? Oh boy. No, but thank you. First of all, thank you for liking my content. Also, that I'm always so like blown away that people watch me. Like, I know that I have a platform in a sense, but every time I get a comment that's like, oh my gosh, I love your content, or like I get a DM being like, oh my gosh, I love your videos, I'm always just like, what do you mean? Like, thank you, but like literally what do you mean? So anyway, thank you for that. I am so excited that you were able to get tickets. I assume that this is probably your like first Stray Kids concert based on like asking for tips. And the best tips that I can give are probably like just take it easy, like have as much fun as you can, don't get too stressed if like things don't go as planned, and just kind of like live as much in the moment as you can. Like, be as prepared going up to the concert as much as you can. Like, make sure you review like bag regulations and what you can and can't bring into the concert venue, making sure like you're prepared, so like when you go through security that you don't get any hiccups or like you have to throw anything away or anything. Yeah, so just make sure that you know the guidelines for the concert. Make sure you're wearing like comfortable shoes / just like a comfortable outfit that you'll feel like okay in for a couple of hours, especially if you're going to be there for like VIP or whatever for a long time. Making sure that you're comfortable and you're going to feel comfortable will do so much for you, because it's going to be a long hectic day. And then I would also say just like try and like talk to those around you. For pretty much like all of the concerts, like K-pop concerts I've gone to, I have gone alone. So I don't have like anyone that I'm going with. This time for Skiz concert this year is like the first time I'm like going with friends and like going with people. So it's gonna be a whole different experience other than like me just like going solo. But I definitely would recommend like talking to people as you're like in line, or talking like with the people next to you. Like, everyone is there for the same reason. Everyone is there to like see the boys and have fun, and so it's really easy, I think, to like make new stay friends and like create like lasting friendships from just like talking to people in line, like I said, or like next to people. Like, that is like the best place to be in if you want to make some new K-pop friends. And it may be like, you know, you may find your new like best friend, or like your new like K-pop like partner in crime or whatever. Like, don't be afraid to talk to people. Like, it might be like really intimidating, but like I said, just like say like, hey, how are you? Like, this is my name. Maybe if you've traveled like to go see them, be like, where are you from? Like, just, I find it's really easy to strike up conversations. So yeah, don't be too worried if you happen to go alone also, that you're like gonna be all alone. You'll make friends along the way. Like, it'll be really, really great. So I would say those are the best tips that I can give you, is yeah, you know, just be prepared, read the rules ahead, be comfortable, try and make some new friends, and then again, yeah, just kind of live in the moment as much as you can. Like, film I'm not gonna ever tell anyone like not to film, because I film at concerts all the time, but make sure you take moments where you're like not filming, you're like in the moment, you're just with your light stick, you're with everyone, like doing the fan chants or like singing along to your favorite song. Like the concert is gonna fly by faster than you realize, and it's gonna be done and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, like wait, what? I like wasn't ready for it to end. So yeah, try and have moments where you just live in the moment and you just like absorb the energy and the music and everyone there. And yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you, and I'm so excited for everyone this year who gets to see them. It's gonna be such a good time. I like can't wait. Like summer for me cannot come any sooner. Moving on, this is a little bit more of like a personal, I mean, it's not super personal, but it is a little bit more about me rather than like K-pop or whatever. But there were like two questions that were very similar, but one of them was, did you always know you wanted to do graphic design / your design journey? And then what got you into graphic design and what do you do exactly? So if you didn't know, I am a graphic designer. That's what I do for work. That is my career. That is what I went to school for. It's what I do full time. To answer the first question, no, I didn't always know I wanted to do graphic design, and how I kind of fell into graphic design was kind of funny because I almost didn't do art like at all in general. I was almost a psychology major. Kind of like a backstory is like the entirety of my life I have always loved art, and I've been really an artistic kid and person. And one of my grandmas growing up was very, very supportive of this and kind of was like an enabler in a sense, because she would help to watch me while my parents worked. And I'm also an only child. Like, I feel like that is like a big lore drop possibly, but I'm an only child, so I never had any siblings either. Growing up, it was just me, so I have become like an independent person really, really easily. But so my grandma would help watch me while my parents worked, and so during most of my childhood I was with my grandma, and she would just like roll out like this long white butcher sheet across her kitchen table and just have like markers and colored pencils and crayons and glitter and stickers and rulers and scissors and just everything that you can imagine like for arts and crafts, and would just like let me go to town. Like, just let me draw all over the butcher paper. When I was full, she would pull it back and there would be a whole new like area for me to draw on. And then as I got older, like I got really into drawing and like painting, and I would always get like art kits and stuff for Christmas. And I took in high school, I took all the art classes that I did. Like, I basically was in the art building as often as I could be, and I actually took like a graphic design class, like a very basic, like very like not even really graphic design. Like, we learned how to make like stickers and like print t-shirts in that class, but it was considered like a graphic design class. So I kind of had like a little bit of like little exposure to graphic design, but like I really didn't have the full scope of like what it was. Anyway, when I went up to college, I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do at all. Like, I just had no idea. I went in being like an undeclared major freshman. I decided that I was just gonna go through like my general classes, take like a whole bunch of like different courses in different areas, and just see like if anything stuck. Because I really just like, I just did not know. And like in the back of my mind, I did kind of want to do something in art, but I also was a little bit scared because I think things have gone a lot better like in the modern age, but it is still kind of hard to make money as an artist, especially as like a traditional artist. So I was worried about that aspect and like not being able to like find a job / like have a steady like income or whatever if I became an artist. Like, I just didn't know. So that's why I like going into like college, I like didn't really think about being anything, like having anything to do with art. I was just like, I'm just gonna like I said, take a bunch of general classes in a whole bunch of areas and just see if anything sticks. I also, real quick pause, I just ran through my first full pack of 100 sleeves. I'm a little bit worried I thought I was going to have enough sleeves for everything. Oh wait, no I didn't. That was only 50. Oh my gosh. Never mind. I literally got panicked there for a second. I was like, that was 100 sleeves? No. These are broken up into separate packs of 50. Okay, we're still doing okay. We are still doing okay. Sorry, I just had like the biggest heart attack. Anyway, carry on. What was I saying? Probably like, what was I saying? I think I was saying like, I still like in the back of my mind wanted to do something with art. I just like didn't know how it was going to work out. So like I said, yeah, I was taking other classes in different areas and different like fields and stuff, just seeing what stuck. And during my first semester, like that first fall semester, I took a psychology class and like absolutely fell in love with it. Like I had the best professor that you could like ever ask for. I found the material and the topics like super interesting. I like clicked with a lot of what was being said. Like I never really struggled with like tests or exams or assignments. Like it just felt like it was very easy and like something that I could go into and something that could really resonate with me. But as the semester like started to end, I really was missing art. Like I really was missing that like creative outlet. And the problem with art classes or like taking art classes or courses at the specific university that I was at is they are very like kind of kept under lock and key in a sense. Like the art classes are really only meant for art majors because our art college is super small and it's also super competitive. So there's only very limited like spots and like open spaces for new students and for students to like take classes. So the classes usually were only available to those who were enrolled as an art major. Come the end of fall semester, like I said, I was really missing art. I was really missing that outlet. I really wanted to try and like take an art class to still feel like if maybe that's the direction I should go in. And so when it was time to register for spring classes, I was like looking at the art courses. I was trying to see if there was like anything that I could enroll into. And I just so happened to find this like one color theory class that like didn't have any prerequisites. It didn't have like any like stipulations like whatsoever. And so I decided to just enroll in it. I was like, I feel like this is the only art class that I can take. This is the only thing that I can really do right now. So I'm going to take it. Enrolled into that class, strolled in on like my first day of that spring semester, and I remember the professor looked at me and was like, "Who are you? Like, how did you get here?" Because everyone else who was in that class was an art major / like the professor knew who they were because they were in the program, like they were in the college, and he was just like, "How did you get here? Like, who are you?" And so basically I told him, I was like, "Well, I'm interested in like maybe becoming an art student, but like I know that like the art classes are hard to get into." And when I was registering, this class like didn't have any prerequisites. Like it was just open to whoever. And there were still spots open. I was like, so I registered. And he like seemed a little bit caught off guard, being like, "What? Like that happened?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Okay, well, sure, I guess." Like he didn't like kick me out, but he was just very confused about how I had gotten there. Which also made me confused about, yeah, like, how did I get here? Anyway, needless to say, I went through that semester and realized that I really missed doing art. I really missed being in, like, this field and, like, with this specific set of people. And so I decided, like, right then and there, I was like, I think I'm going to be an art major. Because, like I said, I was fully prepared to just go into psychology. Like, my plan was to go into psychology, figure it out, but I was like, no, I really miss art. I'm gonna go into art. The next semester, like fall semester, that's when I decided to register and like kind of declare myself as an art major. I then had to go through a bunch of like art courses, and like I said, our college is very competitive, so I had to go through kind of two not like auditions, but kind of like two rounds of like applications to, one, be accepted into the art college, and then two, be accepted into the graphic design program. Because also the graphic design program, the one I went to, is the most competitive one in the state that I live in. and only about 15 to 20 new students are accepted every year. So I had to go through a lot of rigorous applications and courses and things. I made it. Your girl did it. I got accepted into both the art college and both into the graphic design program. And then like 4 years later, I graduated with my BFA in fine arts with an emphasis in graphic design. And so yeah, so that was my like art slash graphic design journey. Didn't know I wanted to do it, missed doing it, and then kind of just happened to stumble into doing it and was really successful basically in the applications and stuff. And then as far as what I do exactly, so right now I work for a company and I am the head graphic designer and brand manager for what we do. So a lot of what I do day to day is I, one, manage the brand, meaning I make sure that all of our logos and brand standards are being met with all of the projects that we create and push out, and just making sure that everything is in compliance and that we're being represented in the way that the brand needs to be represented. And then I also help to create new logos for things. I help create flyers, designs, swag items like t-shirts, bags. I'm also like a mentor for other people in other departments who are making things on their own and don't quite like need my full like expert help. So yeah, that's kind of what I do day to day. It's very, very busy, like all the time. Like I just never really have downtime, and work kind of like drains me a little bit and has, to be honest, really burnt me out these last couple of years, which is why I struggle to do anything with like art and graphic design in my personal time. I really desperately like need to change jobs. Like I think that would help a lot with like the stress and the burnout, but at the same time, it's really hard because I'm kind of at a crossroads where it's like, if I want to apply for a new position elsewhere, I really need to like redo my portfolio and like redo a lot of projects and stuff so I have a strong portfolio. But I'm so burnt out and like I'm so tired when I get home that it's hard to like push myself to work on more design stuff to get to a point where I could do that. So yeah, I don't know. I definitely need to find kind of like a middle ground here eventually, because I would like to move on to something else. I would like to move on to something bigger and better. I've always loved package design. Like I would love to, for like my next step, be in like the textiles or like package design industry. So that's kind of what I hope to do next. But yeah, for right now, I'm kind of just in my little spot that I've been in like the past couple years. I will say though, like I don't hate graphic design. I feel like I've already sleeved this card. Did I already sleeve this card? No, sorry. This card looks so familiar for a second. I was like, did I already sleeve that Matthew card? What was I saying? Oh, like I don't dislike graphic design. I just am burnt out. Like, I feel like if you're a creative person, you kind of know that, like, you just get kind of burnt out at times. And, like, what you love to do and, like, what your passion is sometimes just kind of becomes a chore because it's, like, this passion thing that you have is now, like, your livelihood. And like you kind of just have to push through everything so you can still make money, so you can still like keep moving forward, but you also are like, I'm so burnt out, I'm so tired, like I need a break. So I don't know. I don't dislike graphic design, I just am in kind of a funk currently, but I mean it's all like self-inflicted. Like I definitely could like just toughen up, right? And like just get over it and find time, and I think I will. I think this year is finally the time that I'm gonna like move on and like actually work on my portfolio so I can kind of move up in my career. But hopefully what I said like doesn't deter you if you are interested in graphic design. Graphic design is like the most well, I mean it's kind of hard now with like the rise of AI, but I was gonna say like graphic design is the most important field I think in the world, for marketing purposes and for like visual purposes. Like everything that you see everywhere is done by a designer. Like every single album, every single package design, every single billboard, sign, whatever, it was all done by a graphic designer. Like everything that is visual is at the hands of a graphic designer. So graphic designers are needed, and you're very, very important. And I feel like me saying that like I'm burnt out hopefully doesn't deter you. I think it just comes with the, you know, with, what's the word? It just comes with like the territory of being in a creative field, is you just kind of get burnt out and you kind of lose your spark until you kind of find it again. So I'm ready to find my spark again. Until then, I'm heavily relying on K-pop and all of my favorite groups to kind of push me through and get me through these days. So yeah, hopefully, like I said, hopefully that wasn't too like deterrent. But that is just, I don't want to be like ingenuine, right? Like that's just the reality right now. Another question, which I think is really interesting, is how do you deal with judgment / stigmas with K-pop? I have to hide it from my family, sadly. And first of all, that makes me so sad. Like I really feel for anyone that has to hide or kind of has to keep like any interest that they have a secret because they're like people around them in your life like don't support it, or they're very weird about it, or just I don't know. So how do I deal with the judgment / stigma? I mean, this isn't, I don't think that this is a great answer, but basically I kind of just don't care. Like there was like a period when I first started getting into K-pop that I was very like embarrassed, and I was very like didn't talk about it except with like my closest friends. But my interest got to a point where I like in a sense couldn't hide it anymore, because I was buying a bunch of albums and I was buying a bunch of merch and I was like talking about going on trips to go to concerts and things, and so it was kind of hard to like hide it. But so I basically just kind of told like my parents, like, this is an interest that I have, like this is my hobby, this is what interests me right now, like it really like helps me with my mental health, it really, you know, makes me feel good, it's really an interactive community that I feel like I belong in and I'm a part of. And I will say, like, my parents don't get it, like they don't get like the level of like fandom that I feel like comes with K-pop. My mom, I know she doesn't mean it in like a negative way, but she calls me like the biggest fangirl all the time. She's like, oh my gosh, you're like fangirling again, like oh my gosh, you're such a fangirl. And not that like the word like fangirl or like fanboy is like inherently like bad, but I just kind of hate it as a term because it can feel very derogatory, and it has previously been a very negative like term to call people. So I don't love when my mom calls me a fangirl, because I don't feel like I'm a fangirl. Like, I'm a fan, I'm a stan, but I'm like not a fangirl, you know? So I kind of ignore her in a sense. Like I said, I don't think she means it in like a negative way, but I kind of just ignore that, and I kind of just focus on what makes me happy, which is just being in this K-pop sphere. Also, when it comes to like posting about it publicly on my more like personal social media accounts and like with people that I meet day to day, I kind of just like tell them, I'm like, this is a huge part of my life, it's what my interest is, it's what, you know, is a part of me. So like, if you don't like it, then you don't have to be my friend, you don't have to be around me, you don't have to listen to me talk about it. But I'm like, I'm not gonna hide the fact that this specific genre of music brings me joy, you know? Like, they don't, like, people in your day-to-day life, I feel like, don't have to know that like you collect photocards, or like, you know, that you stream all the music videos and you stay up late and you buy all the new albums. Like, they don't have to know, because I don't know, they might not have that much interest in it. But like, if they can't even accept the fact that you listen to music that is in a different language and they think that that's odd, then those people like don't have your best interest at heart. I don't think, like, they don't, like, And I know like when it's family, it's kind of a different story because you can't like just cut off family as easily as like say friends who aren't as supportive. But like I said, hopefully you can kind of just ignore it the best that you can and don't feel like that you're doing anything bad, or that like you're like a weird person, or that like it somehow makes you any less of like a person, or like less than like, or it like defines you any less than the person you are. I don't know if that's like good advice, but that's just kind of what I've had to do, is just kind of like I said, ignore it, move on, realize that like I'd much rather be happy in my little sphere and in my little community and be happy talking about K-pop than I would be if I was like pretending like I don't like it and pretending like I'm not a fan and like just secretly trying to like hide this secret, you know. I also think, as like I think about this just a little bit more, but I think the more that you're able to kind of like more casually like bring it up maybe and just kind of like talk about it, maybe like perspectives of those around you who judge you will switch. Like I said, if you just talk about how like it's just music that you enjoy, it's just music in a different language that you enjoy, like maybe people will be much more receptive to that, or like maybe they'll like ask you a little bit more about it and realize like, oh, actually this is like really, really interesting. Like this isn't a perfect example, but so many of my like IRL friends, like my much more personal friends, have kind of come around to being fans of K-pop and like wanting to go to concerts with me and like wanting to be more interactive in the community, and have come to me and asked me advice because I talked about it so much to them, and like kind of would send them music videos and talk about my biases and be like, oh, look at this cool thing that happened, or look at what Skizzer's doing, or oh, look at this was me at this concert this past week. And like the more I talked about it with specific people, the much more that people became super receptive to it, and actually like I ended up converting to fans themselves. Like I said, this isn't a perfect example, but my IRL best friend, I have been talking to her about Skiz since I discovered Skiz, like 4 or 5 years ago. When I discovered Skiz, I told her about it. I was like, there's this K-pop group that I really, really like. I think I'm gone for, like, I think I'm done for. I love them so much. And I would just tell her about them, like, all the time. And she would, like, listen to songs that I would send, and she would, like, you know, be a good friend and just, like, listen to me when I yapped about them. But never like really had any interest until last year. Okay, she came to me and was like, I've been listening to K-pop a lot more on my own, and I've been taking some of the recommendations that you've told me over the last couple of years and I've been putting them on my gym playlist, and I've realized how great it is to listen to K-pop in the gym because it gets you so hyped up. And then she's like, my sister reached out to me and asked me if I'd heard about ATs, and I had, because you have previously talked to me about them. And she's like, I'm fully in it. She's like, I'm fully in it. I get it. I'm a fan. When are we going to a concert? So I, after like 3 years, converted my IRL best friend to be a Stray Kids fan, to be a K-pop fan, and now me and her sister and her mom are going to LA together this year. So again, not a perfect example, but definitely an example of if you just talk about it more and you bring it up as casually as you can and just kind of talk about how it's a very normal thing, you might be surprised that people in your life may be way more receptive to it and may eventually come around to it than you realize. Because for the longest time, I kind of felt like that I would never have like one of my IRL friends kind of be a fan alongside me. But it happened, and it's the greatest thing ever, and I love it, and I'm so excited to take her and her sister and her mom to their very first K-pop concert and to just experience it all together all at the same time. It's gonna be so exciting. I'm so excited. So yeah, hopefully there's some like good advice sprinkled in there. I don't know. I don't know if that was like I don't know if I'm the best person to give that kind of advice to, because like I said previously, I'm also just such an independent person that I don't rely on people at all, basically. So I also like don't need validation from others because I have been independent for so long. And so what people in my real life say to me, like, is like hit or miss, whether or not it affects me or whether or not I like really take it to heart or really listen to it. So yeah, but yeah, hopefully eventually everyone can just live happily and can just express their interests freely and not have to worry about the stigmatization or like the judgment from others, because fandoms are like meant to be such a safe place and like a place to find community, and the fact that you're like judged for that just like makes me so upset, honestly. Like no one deserves to be like made fun of or like made to feel bad for something that they enjoy if it's not hurting them or like anyone else. So yeah, I hope it gets better. I hope that it doesn't affect you too much and that it doesn't always have to be like a secret. Now, now we're finally on to the second box. I feel a lot better. I definitely have sleeved way more cards than I thought I had initially with this first pack. I feel like I will have enough sleeves. I feel like we'll definitely have enough sleeves to get through this. Also, I feel like this video is going to be much longer than I anticipated because I'm talking way more than I thought I was. But this is the thing. You give me a platform to talk and I will just talk. And I will talk too much and say too many things and go back and forth on things, and then we're an hour and a half in and I've only done half of what I need to. Let's do a little bit easier, a little bit of a like lighter topic. But someone asked what apps do you use to buy or trade photo cards? So for trading, I basically only use Instagram. It's kind of what I've used for the majority of the time that I have been trading and selling. But as much as Instagram has gotten a lot harder, oh, there's 2 cards in here. As much as Instagram has gotten a little bit harder to use over the last couple years for trading, I still feel like that is the primary platform that you need to be on if you are going to trade. I think that there is like maybe some trading groups like on Facebook, but I have never had a Facebook in like my entire life. And so I don't know what it's like over there. Like I said, maybe there is like a community over there, but I feel like the majority of the community does use Instagram for trading and selling. Like it is just kind of the most straightforward platform. It's really easy to use. Kind of. I mean, the tag system has kind of gone wayward, so it makes things a little bit harder to find and to use. But yeah, for trading, definitely Instagram. I also used to buy a lot more than I do currently on Instagram. When I first started collecting, I would like scroll the tags like it was like my morning newspaper basically. And I bought like a ton of cards and stuff through Instagram. And like I still will occasionally, like I still will sometimes shop on Instagram, but I definitely feel like I've moved on to like more commerce platforms in a sense to look for photo cards. So for example, like Mercari Japan, Mercari US every once in a blue moon, Pokemarket. I've kind of started dabbling into budling recently, which is like kind of the Korean equivalent of Mercari Japan, where you like need a proxy service to buy cards and things. But yeah, it was primarily Instagram for trading and buying, and like I said, once I got to a point where I needed to look for very specific cards and it was easier to just kind of look on like a commerce platform, as that's when I moved to like Mercari Japan and like Pokemarket and other things. Sometimes too I'll buy stuff on eBay. eBay is kind of like hit or miss. Like I'll buy like POB sets on eBay, but I don't usually buy like individual photo cards. But like if I see a set for like a really good price on eBay, I'll like buy it from there. I thought this was the same card for a second. But yeah, I have like contemplated making videos on how to like use like Mercari Japan and how to like use Neokyo or like Bai to buy from those specific areas, but I just don't know if like there's an interest because there's so many other like videos out there who have done that already. And I've also kind of scaled back. I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell given what's in front of me, but I have kind of scaled back on my photo card buying, like just a little bit, like my freely spending photo card. because I've kind of prioritized going to events and concerts a little bit more the past like year. So I could make a video, but I would just need to find a time where I could have like some disposable funds to go on like a shopping spree and like also then turn it into a video. But if there is interest on like how to use like proxy platforms to buy photo cards and stuff through Mercari Japan, through Bujang, let me know. Maybe I'll think about it. Or like if there's possibly an interest on like how to make like a K-pop trading and selling Instagram account, I could do that for sure, because that's definitely like way easier to make a video on and do. And I've thought about doing it in the past before, but just like have never really gotten around to it, honestly. Ooh, this is a fun question. Which Stray Kids era do you think has the cutest slash best photo cards? I was looking through my binders earlier. I was gonna say my K-pop binders, but like that's a given. But I was looking through my binders earlier, because I saw this question and I was trying to think about it, and like I feel like I don't know. Like I would say my favorites, and I don't know that this classifies as like the best because everything is like personal opinion, right? But I think some of my favorite eras were Rockstar. I really loved the Rockstar cards. I think that Hop, like our most recent comeback, I think Hop has some really strong cards. Like I really loved a lot of the concepts and a lot of the poses and the things that the kids did. Like I feel like I really enjoyed collecting Hop a lot more because I really enjoyed everything. I also think that No Easy is really, really good, but that's more like on a personal level because No Easy has such a like special place in my heart because that was like my very first like official comeback with Skiz. And I feel like everyone online, I feel like always talks about No Easy era as like the peak era because like it totally was. Like No Easy era was like our golden era, I feel like. I think on that time so often and like with such like happiness and joy when I like reminisce about it. Like if I could go back to No Easy era, I would in a heartbeat. Like just live in that timeline like over and over and over again because it was so good. Like I don't know, like No Easy, if you were there, you know. Like if you know, you know. Like it was so good. So yeah, I feel like I'm a little bit biased towards thinking that No Easy has like the best cards. But I mean, yeah, I would probably say my top 3 for sure though are like No Easy, Rockstar, and then also Hop. I think those are pretty solid eras where I think they have really good concepts, they're really fun, they're different enough amongst each other. Yeah, I would go with those. Also, maybe like Levanter. I kind of like the Levanter cards too. They're like, those are like the last like cards before they like switched to doing like less crazy things. Like the Levanter cards have like a ton of borders and like typography and like a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on. So those are kind of fun for like the nostalgia aspect of it a little bit. Following along with that, this next one is, what is your favorite Chan card of all time? And that's like asking me to pick my favorite child, and I'm childless. Like, what is my favorite Chan card of all time? I mean, I feel like it has to be that one card from 5 Star that I collected like a whole 9 pocket page of. I feel like it has to be that, right? Hold on, let me grab it. Like, I feel like I have to say it's this, because what other explanation do I have for this other than this being my favorite card? I would say that this is probably one of my favorite cards of all time. Like this one, and also this one, the Baby Girl Chan. I love these two. I would say those two are like some of my favorite Chan like cards ever. Like I love these. Like I don't know what it is about this card. Like this is so like peak channy. Like, if you know what I mean, like, this is so channy. Like, and I think that's why I love it so much. And it's just, like, so cute. So, probably this, at least for, like, album cards, I feel like this is probably, like, my favorite album card. But also this one is really good. Like, the chitties. Can't go wrong there. I think another one of my favorite cards is probably, like, this one, as I just happen to have it so close next to me. I have this card with me, like, all the time. Like, I feel like every time I travel too, I usually have this card with me. But this was a 5-star lucky draw, I believe. I have, like, a full member set for this lucky draw. But I don't know, I just, like, love this Chan card too, like, so much. Like, it just feels like peak, I don't know, like, boyfriend vibes. And it just is so cute in this top loader that I have. I don't know, like, I love this card too. Let me see. Now we're going down my, like, memory lane, like, collection. I think too, as far as, like, special or, like, pop cards, these two are some of my favorite. I know that I feel like there is still some, like, discourse about Angry Bird Chan, about red hair Chan, but I loved this hair, like, oh, I loved this hair so much. And so I love these cards too. Like, this is one of my favorite pages in my special Chan binder that I have, is this. Like, I love Angry Bird Chan. I love these cards so much. So I would say, like, those 4-ish cards are probably my favorite. So, like, the album card from 5-star, the, like, Target Baby Girl Chan card, this 5-star lucky draw card, and then just generally red hair in life Chan. I would say those are my favorites. I probably have a lot more. I know I have a lot more, to be honest, but those are what I can think of right now off the top of my head of being my favorites. Okay, I'm slowly dwindling down on questions, but we still have so many cards to go through. I may have to eventually, at the end, do, like, a little bit of a time lapse so I can just, like, skip through all of these cards. But another question someone asked is there other ways to store your albums besides bookshelves? I mean, obviously the most obvious and the most, like, easiest to do is to use, like, a bookshelf or, like, some kind of, like, shelf, because, like, if you want to store them out in the open, like, that's the way to do it, is to get bookshelves or get, like, hanging floating shelves or something, like. But I guess if you don't care really so much about displaying them or, like, being able to see them or, like, have them easily accessible, there's no rules to say that you can't just put them in, like, a storage bin, right? And put them in, like, the corner of your room or, like, the basement or whatever. Like, there's no rules against that. Just kind of decide what kind of person / like, collector you are, because, like I said, if you want to, like, showcase your collection and, like, have it on display, then, like, bookshelves kind of are, like, the way to go. But if you don't care so much and are just kind of collecting albums and things to kind of have for almost archival purposes, throw them in a storage bin, like I said, and put them in the corner somewhere and just add to them every time you get a new album. I mean, but you can get super creative, I feel like, in ways that you just, like, display things on. I feel like I have this card also. Did we sleeve this card already? This Hanbin umbrella card? I can't find it, but I feel like we have sleeved it already. But I'll just leave it in the pile. I'll just leave it in the pile. What I was saying, though, is I feel like you can, though, get creative in how you display things or how you, like, set up your shelves. Like, I would say Pinterest is, like, your best friend when it comes to trying to find, like, layouts and things that are aesthetic and, like, make sense and that would bring you joy. So, short answer is yes, bookshelves kind of are the only way to store things, but you also don't have to, like, if you don't want to. I store things on bookshelves. I actually need to get a new bookshelf, like, desperately. Like, really badly. I need to get a new bookshelf because I just have piles of albums on the floor right now. I should do that sooner rather than later. These next two questions kind of go a little bit hand in hand. I'm gonna read them off at the same time. This first one is best advice on growing your collection. Your collection is my dream. And also, do you have any tips on how to collect a group stress-free or as stress-free as it gets? And then there's also a third one that, again, is kind of in tandem, I guess, is it hard collecting OT8 for Stray Kids specifically, I'm assuming. Advice on growing a collection. I would say go at your own pace. I feel like that's always like my biggest advice is only start a collection and only begin a collection with the intent of going at a pace that you can keep up with. Like, don't go into debt. Don't be doing crazy things, spending way more than you have just so you can fill up your collection a lot faster than you want to, or like that you know, just go at a pace that, one, you can do so responsibly and make sense, and also figure out from the beginning what it is you want your collection to be. And I feel like that will also play into tips on how to collect a group stress-free, is decide how you want to collect your group, and then that's how you'll choose your collection plan and figure out what kind of means you have to spend on your collection. So for example, if you do want to be an OT8 collector, you have to kind of decide what that means, because you can say I'm an OT8 collector, but when it comes to collecting photo cards, there's a lot that comes with collecting, right? It's not just like album cards. It's like album cards, pre-order benefits, fan sign cards, broadcast cards, event cards, merch cards, collaboration cards, everything in between. So I feel like it's important for you to decide if you want to be a specific type of collector, what kind of collector you're going to be. So if you say, I'm going to be an OT8 collector, are you going to be an OT8 album only collector and then maybe just collect your bias for special cards? Are you like, I'm going to be an OT8 collector for albums and merch and that's it? Or are you going to say, I'm an OT8 collector for everything that's ever made and produced for this group that I'm a part of or I like or whatever? That definitely is very expensive and definitely is a lot more stressful because there's so much like finances involved, and like groups these days put things out like every single day. Like it's a constant revolving door, I feel like, of new things being announced, new things coming out, new things to collect, new things to buy. So you definitely, like I said, you definitely have to figure out what kind of collector you are, and then again, just go at your pace that makes sense for you, that will work for you. Because I don't think it's ever a good idea to spend more than you have means for. Like, no one needs to be going into debt over K-pop. Like, truly, no one needs to be maxing out credit cards. No one needs to be spending rent money to buy photo cards. Like, that's when you kind of need to step back a little bit and take like a breather and be, you know, assess what it is that's going on, what we're doing. If you maybe like set a monthly budget, being like, okay, I have like $100 to spend on K-pop this month. These are my goals for my collection. I want to knock out these specific cards, get them perfect, and then just roll that over into like the next month. Like, just do that every month. That's kind of what I do, to be honest, is I kind of have like a set monthly K-pop budget that I have for like disposable income, and I try as best I can to stay within that and not overspend. Sometimes I will admit I do kind of overspend when there's like multiple comebacks happening all at the same time, but I hold myself accountable, being like, okay, I overspent on this month, which means I'm taking that out of what would be next month's K-pop's budget, and I'm subtracting that so everything kind of evens out. My advice, again, is just go at your own pace, figure out what kind of collector you are. Don't feel like you're behind if you don't have everything like all at once. Like, don't compare your collection to other people's collection online. I know it's really, really hard, and I know that I'm like not a good example because I showcase my collection online, but I would hate for someone to look at my collection and then look at their own collection and feel like I'm somehow superior because I have so much more. I always have to remind people I've been doing this for years. I'm like on my 4th year of collecting. I'm an adult with a full-time job with a lot of disposable income, and this is my hobby and this is what I put money into. It's very different if you're like 20 years old in college, have very little disposable income, and are trying to do what I do. Like, it's just, we're both in different stages of our life, and it's just not going to work the same way. So don't compare your collection to others. Go at a pace that makes sense for yourself. Cards will always be there. Like, you'll always be able to go back and collect an era or collect an album that you missed or maybe needed to put a pause on. Like, cards will always be around. Like, you'll always be able to like back collect and like get things that you need. Don't stress about trying to complete everything like right off the bat or like right away, or like if you're brand new to collecting, you don't need to like suddenly have a full album collection within the next month. Like, it's just, that's truly not realistic to think about it like that. You have to pace yourself too, because also I very easily, if you do just go full gung-ho, you just go full forward, you can very easily get burnt out on collecting and suddenly like you lose interest, and then you've spent all this money, you have all these cards, and like a month later, or like, I actually changed my mind, I actually don't enjoy collecting, that was like a hyperfixation for 2 weeks, and then you have to go and sell off your whole collection again. Like, so yeah, take things slow, take it at like a reasonable pace, make sure that you enjoy collecting before you go and like invest a whole bunch of money into like a specific group or a specific member or like whatever. Try not to be super stressed about it, because collecting at the end of the day should be a fun thing. It shouldn't be a stressful thing, and if it is stressful, maybe you need to take a little bit of a step back and enjoy the music and the content a little bit more, and just like not have to worry about the collecting side. And then to go to the other question I kind of tagged on is it hard collecting OT8? It can be, but like I kind of said, I in a way I have the means to collect OT8, so I'm never like totally struggling to collect OT8, because typically I buy enough albums where I'm very easily able to trade for all of the cards that I need, or I will have tons left over that I'll just pull everything that I need. I also have made a ton of friends and connections over the years from this account and from my Instagram account, so I have a bunch of mutuals too that when comeback time comes around, like, they're the first people that I turn to, that I'm like, do you have this card? Should we trade? Should we do this? What do you need? So I kind of too am not like super stressed about collecting OT8, because I have friends and peers that I can turn to first before I turn to like the wider community, which is nice. Again, that's all going back to just like getting a little bit outside of your comfort zone and just making friends and like talking to people. Collecting any like full member group can be stressful. You just have to go about it kind of smartly, I think. You know, that's either taking it slow so you don't get stressed out and overwhelmed, or you're in a position where you're able to just buy as many albums that you need and then just trade for what you don't pull, or, you know, just trade amongst your friends and have like a support system in that regard. But yeah, my best advice though I will say it again and again and again, just go at your own pace. Like, collecting should be fun, it should be a hobby, it should not be something stressful, it should be not something that makes your life worse. It should make your life better in a sense. Yeah, have a game plan, stick to that game plan, ask for advice or help if you need it, I would say. I try my best to get to DMs and things that people reach out to me about. So if you ever feel like you need advice, or you want to ask a question, or you are unsure about something, I will try my best if you reach out to me to respond and give my insight the best that I can. Or if you just want to chat about something that you've been thinking about, like I said, I try my best to answer DMs as they come in. It might take me a second, but I feel like I will always be an open resource if you want to ask someone in the community about certain things about collecting, or about how to grow a collection or advice or whatever. So hopefully if I didn't give any good advice, because I'm trying to like multitask, which is sometimes a little bit difficult, if you have a question and you DM me, I might be able to more articulately give you a better advice or like a better answer. I will say, I feel like I as I'm sitting here, I'm doing this, I'm like, am I, if what I'm saying is like anything that I'm saying making sense, like, are people gonna watch this and understand, or are they gonna be like, what is she talking about? I don't know. Like I said, I'm having trouble like multitasking and also critically thinking, to be honest. Here is another fun question. What are your favorite Skiz songs? Again, I feel like that's trying to pick like your favorite child. What are my favorite Skiz songs? Like all of them? Let's see. Let me go like back into the recess of my mind, being like, what do I feel like I listen to the most? What do I love hearing? I definitely feel like Domino and Item are like really high on my list. I love Domino. I love Item. I love Neverending Story. Oh, Neverending Story. I would die. I would truly perish. I would like float into the universe into sparkle dust if I ever heard Neverending Story live. Like, I am so jealous. What did they most recently perform that at? Was it like a concert or like a fan meeting? They like more recently performed Neverending Story, and the jealousy, the pure jealousy that I had that I wasn't there. Oh, astronomical. Astronomical. That should have been me. Should have been me. I should have been there. What else? What are some like deep cut like Skiz songs that I feel like sometimes stays forget about? Let me pull up Spotify. All In, the Japanese All In. Ooh, banger. I love that song. I feel like if I'm in a bad mood, if you put in All In, I'm all in. I'm in a better mood. You cannot be upset when you hear that song. I feel like a deep cut of Stray Kids' discography, a song I love is called For You. It was previously referred to as mixtape number 3 before it was re-recorded and put on the Skiz 2021 album. But I think that might be one of my favorite songs. I love that song For You. They're like I don't know, the lyrics just like really, they really resonate with me. Like, I feel like I don't even know if they've ever really performed that song, to be honest. Like, probably not. But if I ever got the chance to hear For You / like mixtape 3, oh, again, I would ascend. I also love Airplane from Go Live. I love Get Cool and like Awkward Silence. Maze of Memories, Third Eye, Placebo, My Pace, Haven. Like, this is what I said. Like, basically, like, how can, like, all of Skiz songs are my favorite. How could you choose a favorite? Like, I don't even know if I could rank my top 5 songs, I don't even know what they would be. I mean, probably Domino, Item, and For You would be in there. But, like, what else would be in there? I feel like Star Lost? Like, a tie between Star Lost and Haven would have to be in there. A Hellevator, too? I love Hellevator. Like, hearing Hellevator live, that is one of my favorite songs to hear live. Every time I hear Hellevator live, I get, like, the biggest chills and, like, goosebumps. Like, oh my gosh, I love Hellevator live. I don't know. My answer is I don't know. I don't know what my favorite Stray Kids song is, because, like, all of them are my favorite Stray Kids songs. Oh, it's so hard to choose. It's so hard to choose. What are you tell me. You tell me in the comments what's your favorite song. I would love to know. I would love to know. We're running down to almost the end of my full second box of sleeves, and I still feel like I have a whole quarter of stuff to go through. I have way more cards, I think, than I thought I did. Hopefully I have enough binder pages. I feel like I did the math and that I should have enough binder pages. I hope. But this is a lot more, I think, than I truly thought I had, to be honest. Like, wow. I'm like almost through 200 sleeves now. 200 cards. Holy cow. That's crazy. What was my timeline? I feel like I started collecting Zero Base 1. Well, I started collecting Jiwoong, I should say specifically, because I only started, like, grabbing his cards, like, during Melting Point, because Melting Point was my, like, first, like, official stan comeback, I feel like, with Zero Base 1. So I started out with Jiwoong during Melting Point, which was 2023. So for, like, a year and a couple months worth of kind of passively collecting, I ended up with this many cards. That's kind of crazy, actually. Holy cow. For a group I was passively collecting. Hello? Okay, I think for the rest of this, I've kind of run out of questions. I don't see any more questions. If you had submitted a question and I didn't read it off, I'm so sorry. I pulled the questions that I had gotten from Instagram, and I know Instagram has been kind of odd recently, where I feel like things in my archive have, like, suddenly disappeared. And like I said, I posted about this Q&A, like, months ago, so I might have lost some things as the post got archived, but yeah, so sorry if I missed a question that you submitted. Maybe I'll do another one of these another time for Q&As, and then we can try and do it again, and I'll be more on top of collecting questions and stuff. But I think for these last half cards, I'm just gonna try and run through and sleeve all of these, and then do a little outro, because I feel like this video has gone on much longer than I anticipated, to be honest. As per usual, but even more so because I've been doing a lot more talking than I think I thought I would. So, time-lapse, and I don't even know how much of the time-lapse I'm going to show, but time-lapse comments. I did it. I did it. I literally was on the very last box, my very last pack of 50 sleeves. I was like, am I gonna make it? Y'all, am I going to make it? Holy cow. I have so many more photo cards than I thought I did. Holy crap. Oh my gosh, okay, we'll definitely need to do a restock on these sleeves for sure. Holy cow, do you see the amount of piles that I have? Oh my goodness. I also have so many, like, extra, like, sleeves that everything came in that was, like, trades and sales and purchases. Holy cow, my gosh. What is happening? Alright, I organized my piles again, and I brought in the binder that we put together, and this is going to be all for today's video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed, like, the Q&A and sleeving some photo cards. It was kind of fun to just kind of mindlessly go through and do this and answer some questions that we had. So yeah, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna sort my piles, figure out what I'm gonna do for my binder, because that's gonna be the very next video I film, is to get all of this into my new Zero Base 1 binder. Now that I'm seeing it though, I am a little bit concerned that maybe the binder I got isn't big enough, but we shall see. We might have to make a part 2 of the ZB1 collection setup, because I'm gonna need a new binder, but we'll see. We will cross that bridge in the next video. So I just want to say thank you again so much for watching and sitting with me. I really appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!